Hi everybody, welcome to another class of Qi Gong, Tai Chi, meditation for better health and some prevention. We'll try to focus on a few things that people were talking on. As I do this stuff, I'll try to explain it for the new people again. What are we doing? What are we trying to achieve? Remember, the Qigong, Tai Chi, and meditation are complementary to Western medicine. So it really works together. It really helps with the side effects, symptoms, that comes with having the disease or the treatment. I would start with a very gentle warm up that warms up the hips, the ankles. It gets the heart going a little bit. So when we do stretches and movement, the muscles have more saturated with blood from pumping the heart. I put my hands behind my back. So part of what we're trying to do is it's called freeing the skeleton from being a prisoner of the soft tissue. So our skeleton is designed to do certain things. At the same time that I'm talking, if you want, rotate counterclockwise your hips. Our skeleton is designed to do certain things, movements like elbows over the head, elbows behind your back, the hands touching each other, the knee touching the chest, and on and on and on. There's all this stuff that we designed to do. But with age, weather, cold weather, I call it modernization, the sofas, the cars, the computers, all those places where we just collapse and we don't keep a nice posture. Our soft tissue shrinks on top of our skeleton. And when it shrinks, it restricts, it leads to chronic condition. And my theory is that it also doesn't allow all the system to function in their potential because they create lack of circulation, stagnation, areas that are tight, compression, inflammation. So there's a whole negative chain reaction to this skeleton being a prisoner of the soft tissue. So there's two ways to free the skeleton. One way is dynamic and one way is static. This is like a dynamic way, movement, very gentle. To free the skeleton, you have to stretch the soft tissue. So using those two methods is very efficient and gives people two different options, one movement, one stationary. In my world, less is more. You want to do 80% effort. So you don't want to stretch intensively. You want to use very gentle motions. And over time and practice, your soft tissue will open up. You'll feel more loose. You feel more flexible. Sometimes people have certain conditions that you can't reach the potential of your skeleton. So you try to do the best you can with what you have. And even that makes a difference. And also not to talk about, you don't know what you're preventing by keep the soft tissue open and stretched. And that's just one element of what we're doing. Change direction, go now clockwise and change the grip behind your back. There's three ways to grab the hands behind the back. One is the wrist, a little easier. Second is the forearms, a little more. And the third is the hardest, is to grab the elbows. The second way of helping maybe even the immune system, stress, anxiety, is utilizing the breath and the mind. So then we have body, breath, and mind. So that's 3 out of the 5 that Qigong and Tai Chi try to focus or fine-tune until fine-tuning is not needed. The other 2 is the energetic system and the spirit. So those are the more spiritual or energetic ones, or the more out there, as people will say in the Western world. But the first 3 are very important as well. So body, breath, and mind. There's a lot of research and studies showing how the meditation affects different things and how deep breathing affects a lot of other things. And even stretching and strengthening has a lot of science behind it already by now. So at the same time as I do those circles and I'm stretching my lower back, my hamstring, my quads, my ankles, my hips, I'm taking deep breath in and out through the nose. And my goal is to saturate my system with oxygen because we're shallow breathers. If you think about it, even if you walk, you don't really need to take deep breath. Maybe if you start running, yeah, but sometimes with age and sickness and treatment, you can't really go out running and stimulate the lungs. And also, when you go through treatment, and if you do an intense exercise workout, the immune system now is busy helping that, and it defeats the purpose because you want the immune system to focus on what it needs to be focused on. Turn the chair around this way. So that's the one thing we have in the class. If you can have a chair with no handles, so that way we can do the chair twist for the lower back. I sit sideways on the chair. If you don't have a chair today, you can still do it with a regular chair. You can sit straight and you'll turn this way. It's not the best, but it's second to best. So you put one hand on the knee here and the other hand on the chair, and you rotate to the right, let's say. If you do have a chair, it's much better because it's restricting your legs and hips and it becomes a fixed point. And then I turn to my right, and I also have the back of the chair to help me. So one hand is pulling, one hand is pushing, and I try to just turn around until one day you'll get your shoulders parallel to the back of the chair. Don't force it. Go slow. So oxygen is very important. So as I last said, we're shallow breathers in general, and it's not the best recommended thing to do after a certain age and a certain condition, a hard cardiovascular workout. So the next thing is you have to make a conscious decision and start taking deep breath throughout the day. I call it the Rami parrot. It sits on your shoulder and just keeps saying, breathe deep, breathe deep, breathe deep. So you have to remember that all day. And you'll forget. So what will happen is you have to remind yourself to breathe deep throughout the day. And maybe I have some tricks. I say when I go to the car, when I'm in the red light, when I wait for my email, before I eat. This is a joke. When my wife talks. So it reminds me to breathe deep. And the deep breathing is very important because every breath, I call it it's like a saving account. You take a nice deep breath, boom, it's another deposit. And you want to keep breathing deep and keep breathing deep. But as I say, even I would forget it throughout the day. So that's why you have to create those reminders throughout the day that will remind you. Unless you have an app that reminds you to breathe deep every hour, every half an hour. That's one of the apps I wanted to always develop. Straight spine, deep breathe, and drink water, the right amount of water per day. Those three, very important. The chair twist also help with the digestive system. It's not just for the lower back. Come out of it slow. Turn to the other side. The chair twist is also great. It's great for the lower back, especially the lumbar area, but it really works on the digestive system. It really moves things around because you're twisting around the intestine and the stomach and holding it. And afterward, you release. So I call it the dam effect. It's like things are held and then whoop, they release and rush everywhere and they open up and they remove stagnation and increase circulation. So as I twist, I take deep breath. But now I don't want my mind to wander away and think of other things. So I want my mind to be right here in this second, this moment. So there's a way to maintain a mindfulness at the exercise. And there's more than one way, but for example, you focus on moving up, and turning around. I always say you need to move up a lot more until you get around. So it's up, and around. Some of my students say up, and around. And the second thing, you want to focus on your breath, in and out through the nose. And now you have body, breath, and mind together. Over time and practice, you get better. So if, for example, you're not doing the chair twist, just focus, close your eyes and focus on the breath and try to empty your mind from any thoughts. The thoughts will come in. It's called in Qi Gong the monkey mind or the emotion mind. So you say, okay, I don't want to think, because if I don't think, there's studies showing that if you don't think, the whole brain lights up because you don't think, and then it stimulates the pituitary gland, and that releases happy hormones like serotonin, endorphin, and on, or other healing properties, and it reduces the stress hormones, and that is very healthy. It may be that that's what the East called the healing from within. It's the ability to stimulate the pituitary gland. It's the ability to quiet the mind. It's the ability to increase oxygen intake. Now, in the East, they also believe there's a whole energetic system. Is there one? Isn't it? I don't know. To tell you the truth, I'm doing this since I'm 16. It could be one of my theories that it's the power of the mind, and the energetic system is the stepping stone to create a stronger healing mind. So a lot of people don't have awareness of their body. So by focusing on all those areas throughout your body, you're creating strength throughout your body with your mind. Come out of it slow. And could be that this energetic system is needed. Sit on the chair again, put your leg up on top of the other leg. So this is also an outer hip stretch, but it's also a way to help with the neuropathy now. So we're going to go into a little bit of tapping, it's called. So I put my right leg up, I take my right hand and I start tapping on the sole of the foot from the toes to the heels. If the tapping hurts or doesn't feel comfortable, go more gently. If you can tap with the palm. So that's one method. I tap the soles of the feet. I tapped on the side. I tap in the front, the toes. I go to the heels, up the Achilles to the ankle. So I tap all the way from the ankle to the toes, the heels, everywhere with my palm. At the same time, I take deep breath because I want to bring that oxygen in and saturate my system. And I mentioned the energy. So the first thing, as students that study the energetic system in my world, one of the first exercises is to try to visualize a healing energy ball 2 inches below the navel in the center of the body. Keep tapping. As you can see, all those Tai Chi balls here are designed exactly for that. You have different size ball, different kind of wood, and you just hold it in front of the 2 inches below the navel, and you move the feeling inward, and you visualize a healing energy ball in the center of the body. I like to visualize the sun, and when you visualize the sun, later you start utilizing it to project from the inside out and cleanse and nourish every cell in your body or very specific organs that you want to focus on. So now every exercise has body, breath, mind, and energy. As you tap, you visualize this healing energy ball 2 inches below the navel, center of the body. I would say at first just visualize it very small. Start with a grape size or cherry, and you get better. You can tap, visualize it big and like the sun, and it projects outward. And again, as my mom said, she's a famous world-renowned virologist in Israel. I mean, in the world-renowned, but she's in Israel. And if it doesn't hurt, Rami, why don't you try it? So, visualizing this lower energy center and projecting outward, cleansing and nourishing stuff, it's not going to hurt. So why don't you try it? I call it the power of the mind. I believe that the mind is very powerful and it can be part of our assistant in the journey towards better health and preventing sickness or dealing with certain conditions or sickness too. You do the best you can. So now we have body, breath, mind, energy. The last part is the spirit. We got to evoke the spirit with everything we do, because evoking the spirit, as I mentioned, the spirit is in the front parts of the lobe. Change legs. Now my left leg on top of my right, and my ankle is in the air. So I'm stretching my left outer hip, and with my right hand, I'm tapping. I can take my left hand, make it into a fist, and I put it 2 inches below the navel. So that way, that helps me visualize the lower energy center. Then I can close my eyes. If you visualize the lower energy center as the sun, that's already very spiritual. So now you have all of them: body, breath, mind, energy, and spirit. Another way is to send your mind deep into the earth. So as I'm sitting here, my mind is also going into the earth and visualizing my lower energy center at the same time as I tap. Usually I teach my students more than they can do. Say, oh, Rami, I put my leg up, tap, focus on the breathing, focus on the lower energy center, and empty my mind. It's a lot. Yeah. So a good teacher teaches you more than you can do. And you say, wow, this guy knows so much. I want to study all of it and one day be able to do it. So that's the goal. My teacher used to say, you want someone that will give you a map. Let's say you said you want to go from here to City Hall. Most people can give you half a map. If someone can give you the map all the way to City Hall, even though it takes you years, what do you carry? At least you have the map. You know where you're going. So that's the metaphor to knowledge and practicing it and achieving it. When I tap, I can also use the tip of the fingers. You can use the wooden spoons. In the Qi Gong, continue tapping. In the Qi Gong world, there's different tools. You can use sandbags. You can use ball. Oh, this is a wooden ball. I can also put the ball on the ground and rotate and put my foot on it and move the foot. There's many techniques: circles, straight lines, little circles, big circles, and on and on. At the same time, you see, when I tap, I'm also tapping my hands. So if you have some neuropathy in the hand, that's a good start to stimulate the nerves, to stimulate flow, to stimulate the heat. So once you feel heat in the palms, the blood is moving into the palms, into the feet. At the same time, you take the deep breath, so the oxygen moves with the blood. And if you put your mind there, it's also the energy and the mind. Then I want to do a little bit. You can do this sitting or standing. So I'm going to go on my right hand on my left. I'm going down on the outside and up on the inside if I have to. I do it with the back of the palm up and the front of the palm down. Find the tapping or touching that you feel comfortable. At the same time, I take the deep breath. As part of the breath, or a big part of the Qi Gong, is to move the abdominal muscles in and out with the breath. Let's keep it after we do the tapping, but if you've already been in my classes and you can do it both at the same time, As you inhale deep, suck the stomach and the back muscles in. And when you exhale out. Yeah, I'll isolate just that skill after this. When you move the abdominal muscles and the back muscles in and out, you massage the internal organs, you create, again, remove stagnation, increase circulation, but you also strengthen the abdominal muscles. They become really, really strong. Like I can do 60, 80 sit-ups with my kids when I don't do it all year. Just come, I can do it because I keep moving the abdominal muscle, so it's the same. Of course, it's not the same as a sit-up because sit-up takes a lot more effort. So maybe 4 or 5 days of moving the abdominal muscle in and out equals a sit-up. But years later, it just your stomach become really nice and strong, and it also burns some fat if you're looking for that. Because the movement creates friction, the friction burns the fat between the layers of muscles. There's about 5 layers here. So all of them in between have layers of fat. In and out through the nose. The tongue touches the roof of the mouth. It closes an energetic circuit. So again, there's this energetic system that people stick needle, acupuncture, shiatsu, and it's the same energetic system in Qi Gong. 12 meridians, 8 extraordinary vessels, and a lot of about 7 or 9, depending on who's the teacher, energy centers. Or in yoga, they call it chakras. In Qi Gong, they call it energy centers. Then I'm going to tap with my left hand, the right hand, front of the palm down, back of the palm up. The idea here is to stimulate the nerves, to bring messaging back to the deep breathing, the relaxation. Also, theoretically should help the immune system. Sometimes it's the immune system is confused and it's overreacting or underreacting. So that's all about balance. Sometimes stress, anxiety, fear contributes to stagnation and releasing negative hormones. And some sicknesses happen from stress and negative, what they call negative emotions over years. And some of it is genetic too. So it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is what do you do? Do you want to complement Western treatment? Do you believe that you can contribute, or you just want to be passive? I'm a more of like a warrior. So I always say, no, I want to take an active role. So whatever I'm being treated for, I also try to do the best I can do on my own. Of course, it would be nice if every now and then someone else can do it for you, but good luck with that one. So don't wait, just do it yourself. You can start with a minute, 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. Just what matters is that you become consistent, that you grow, over time. You do a minute, 2 minutes. You can divide it. If, let's say, you say 2 minutes, you do a minute or 2 minutes in the morning, a minute or 2 minutes in the middle of the day, and a minute or 2 minutes at the end. So you get it 3 times a week, and you see if the tapping does anything to your neuropathy. Working at Dana Farber, I got a lot of very positive feedback. What I can do is I can send Anne a link to some tape I made for Dana Farber for neuropathy, and she can share it. It is on YouTube, so it's not like it's private or whatever. And I'm sure they'll be glad to share it with you guys. And part of what we do in Qi Gong and Tai Chi also is movements of animal. I know a lot of you enjoyed it over the classes we had. The movement have different purposes. When we talk about the first movement we'll do is crane flies. This is great for preparing, recovering from surgery, frozen shoulders. Again, it works on the neuropathy because look what I do with my hands. Here, my hands are straight and spread the fingers. As I go down, I tense the forearms and I point the fingers to the side, like I'm pretending there's a table here, I'm leaning on it. And here they're straight, and here they're bent. So this Qigong and Tai Chi is also acupuncture in motion. When you go in different position, different groups of muscle tense and relax, and that's like the needles. They stimulate the energy channels. They stimulate the blood vessels. At the same time, this is great for any respiratory conditions or just increasing oxygen throughout the body. So you're focusing on the lungs. It's almost like you building up upper body strength, core strength, because let's say I put 2 minutes and we're just going with our arms slow, up and down, up and down. The arms become like weights after a while. So you don't need weights. And you build a lot of strength in the upper body. Sitting upright like this or standing in the horse stance, you strengthen the back muscles. And then focusing, emptying your mind from any thoughts. So you're in sitting, moving meditation. The slower, the better. You're going to inhale on the way up and exhale on the way down. So we said body, the breath, and the mind is in the body and the breath. But then I want to add the energy and the spirit to the exercise. Because remember, as I said, every exercise should have all 5 building blocks. That's what makes the difference between Qigong and Tai Chi and yoga or physiotherapy or anything else. It has all those 5 building blocks. I think in yoga, I know in yoga, they don't have the energetic system, but they do have body, breath, mind, and spirit. But it doesn't matter. In Hebrew, we say the same lady with a different dress. It's still the same lady. It's just wearing a different dress. On the outside, it looks a little different. But in the deep levels of both, it's the same in many ways. Then, as I mentioned before when we were doing the other stuff, there's one more skill, another area that you want to also tap. So it's the abdominal area, the organs. So I'm tapping the organs. I go up the right, into the center, and down through the left. So it's a circle up the right, down through the left. You can do it with both hands. Take deep breath. Back to the spirit. We missed the spirit in the crane. So I visualize the lower energy center as the sun. When I was flying like a crane, usually I see myself as a crane flying towards the sunset. But now you're tapping and the sun is in there. Or you're sitting on the beach or in a nice nature spot. You just close your eyes and you feel that place where you feel so spiritual. Maybe the top of a mountain, a forest, near a lake. And you do the tapping while you feel you're there. You're just sitting there or standing there. And now you have body, breath, mind, energy, and spirit. Then I want you to rub your hands, rub, make them nice and warm. And circle, again, the same direction, up through the right. Feel the heat going right into the organs. And I want you to put your mind in the organs and dissolve them. Whatever you feel inside there, let's call it solid. And with your mind, you change it from solid to liquid, and from liquid to gas. Try to let go, dissolve, melt, relax the entire internal organs. For me, I started at 15, 16 in Israel doing Tai Chi and Zen because I had digestive issue. It would be very bloated. Nobody knew what it was. And trust me, I can see the top people in Israel with my mom's connections. So people used to say, oh, it's psychosomatic. And then there was this one acupuncture in Jerusalem, Shmuel Katz. And my mom said, let's go. We'll try go to him. And we went and people told her, where are you going? It's a witchcraft. A witchcraft. She said, well, we'll try. And we tried. And within the, I don't know, 6, 7 weeks, all kind of stuff. My sinus infection disappeared. My lower back and neck problem disappeared. I reached my full height at 13. So I was all a skeleton. And the digestive system didn't disappear. So he said, you have to go study with my friend Tai Chi. And he will help you with the other stuff. I wouldn't say it totally disappeared, but I think it became a lot better and I know how to deal with it. And, you know, some stuff doesn't disappear. The next is, I want you to put your hands on the abdominal muscles and I want you to inhale and move them all the way in and exhale, let them go out. So this is, in Qi Gong, this is considered the internal organ massage. Most people don't know this breath. They know the opposite. They know inhale, move the abdominal muscles out. But I want you to try this one. Inhale, move the abdominal muscles in, and exhale out. Over time and practice, you'll get really good in it. This all it is, it's muscle control. We don't use it, so you lose it. But eventually you use it, and then not only that you'll be able to move the abdominal muscles in and out, I call it like the skin of the drum. You'll be able to move it in a wave. The wave starts from the pubic bone and goes up into the sternum. And when you exhale, it comes out from the sternum and goes out through the pubic bone. So the muscles move in a wave. Be the wave. Very important. So this is done in everything we do. So what are the core or pillar of the Qigong that you do in everything we do? If we do a crane, if we do tapping, I'll give you a small list. Deep breathing in and out through the nose is the first one. The second one is visualize the lower energy center. The third one is moving the abdominal and the back muscles in and out. And the fourth one is the tongue touch the roof of the mouth. That's it, simple. You do it with everything else. Okay, and now let's do the Buddhist breath. Now I want you to inhale, but move the abdominal muscles out. And then exhale, move them in. Inhale, move them out. Exhale, move them in. So that's the Buddhist breath. The first one we did was the Taoist. This is the Buddhist. Both are breaths that we use throughout life. So if someone just taught you one, they just don't know the other. Simple. Remember, I always say knowledge is very powerful. That's the reason, like, with $1,200 in a suitcase, I traveled to the US when I was 21 because I read a book by this I felt that his knowledge is so deep. I said, I want to study with this guy. And I flew here in Boston and studied with him for about 25 years or so. Became his top guy and traveled all the world, taught for him. And he pushed me to work with cancer maybe 25 years ago or more. right off the back. And for me, it was real because you can see, can you make a difference or not? It's not just talk. So I call it being in the trenches. When I work at Dana Farber, when I work with osteoarthritis now at Tufts, when I'm working with irritable bowel syndrome, it's being in the trenches, seeing people with real problem, and seeing what from the Qi Gong and Tai Chi world really works. So when Anne said I'm an expert in improvising answers to solution, it's expert over years and years of experience and listening to people and following up and trying different techniques and seeing what's work and what doesn't work. So that was the Buddhist breath, and then you have the Taoist breath. And you also want to try to tap the kidney. It's called Ming Mang. It's a door here, little small doors that if you think there is an energetic system, it's the way, like if we were a pressure cooker, that's the area when you release the pressure from the cooker. So it's right up here above the kidneys. So you want to try to tap the kidneys. It's also a nice stretch for your arms, shoulders. If you can't tap with both, so try with one, then the other. Then circle the kidneys. I circle the right one clockwise and the left one counterclockwise. Make the kidney nice and warm. Shake your arms. I'll do one more and then I'll leave you a few minutes for questions. Put your hands on your hips. Or another area that is very tight, of course, is the neck and shoulders. In Qigong, anything that you want to help the neck, shoulders, you have to do from the sternum up. So that includes arm movement, wrist stretches, neck movement. We'll start with, it's called look to the left and look to the right. So I put my hands on my hips. I visualize the lower energy center. I turn my head to the left and I look far, far away. I close my eyes, bring my head to the center. My eyes are closed. I turn to the right and open my eyes and look far, far away. So this is also called evoking the spirit and cooling the spirit. When your eyes are closed and you visualize the lower energy center, you cool the spirit. When you open your eyes and you look, they also call it in Qigong tiger eyes or eagle eyes, warrior eyes. So you look with intense eyes, then you close your eyes, visualize the lower energy center, and then open your eyes. So it's called look to the left, look to the right. At the same time, you see, I'm working on the range of motion of my neck slowly but surely. I try to pretend there's a table right under my chin, and I'm sliding my chin, hovering over that table. So you don't want to tilt the head. There's a tendency to turn, and at a certain point, their head doesn't turn anymore. So you tilt the head to different ways to achieve more turn. No, recognize where you can't go anymore and stop right there, even a little before. Over time and practice, the muscles will get warm, they'll stretch, and you'll be able to go further and further. It's about consistency, discipline, and knowledge. It's not going to happen right away. Then I'm going to look up and look down and look up and look down. And then I just want you to close your eyes and for 1 minute, try to empty your mind from any thoughts. This is called Zen meditation. Zen, my first practice. Any thoughts come into your brain, just lead it into your breath, in and out through the nose. and slowly bring your mind back. Sorry, that's 1 minute. So I recommend that you put the timer for 20 minutes and up. Don't start with that. You can start 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. You should always feel comfortable. Oh, that was easy. If you feel it was long, that's mean your mind is not in the brainwave between awake and asleep, zeta. If you feel like 5, 6, 8 minutes, wow, that was it, that was so quick. That's you in the right brainwaves. Um, Other than that, I hope I explained a little bit today what we're doing, and we tackled some of the issues we talked about in the beginning. If you have any questions, maybe 1 or 2 questions, I have time. And if you want to ask it, you can ask it through Anne. You can type it to her, and then she'll ask me. That way, you don't appear on the camera. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Rami. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. And I have really appreciated your session today, focused towards peripheral neuropathy, and always such a font of knowledge. So go ahead and type any questions you might have for Rami into the chat. We'll have just 2 more minutes with him, and then we'll have a little portion that's unrecorded. So go for it, friends. Not getting any questions here today, so I'm
All
going
right,
to
guys. So I will see you next month. Keep practicing. Here, maybe there's one right now. What's
start.
there?
Advice dealing with dizziness and nausea, and then familiar globus like an apple in my throat. Hmm, interesting questions,
Well,
guys.
dizziness can happen for many, many reasons. So it could be even side effects of certain medication stuff. But the one element that I work with is migraines and dizziness. It's stress in the neck and the shoulders. So a lot of people with very tight shoulders slow the circulation into the head, and that creates uh, migraines or sometimes dizziness. But other than that, there's so many reasons for that. So it could be side effects of medication. It could be heart-related issues. It could be there's a lot. So I would run it by the doctor and see what they say. But I would also work at the same time on freeing the shoulders, neck area from tension, so we can tackle it next time. How to free the whole. It's called the shoulder girdle. The apple in the throat here. No, that one I don't know. I have to think about it. Maybe I'll have something by next time. That one I don't know what's the reason, or you stumbled me.
And anything you would recommend for headaches?
Headache is what we'll do next time, if you remind me, Ann. It's all the tension in here. Headache, I actually work with the director of the headache of Harvard. He's a good friend of mine, Rami Bernstein. And we did some studies together. It wasn't published, but we did some preliminarily. And what I learned is that most of it is women, first of all. Second, 30% is because of hormone reasons. 30% is because of tension in the neck. And the last 30% is a combination of both. So a lot of the releasing the neck can help with the tension. And I have many women that told me, wow, Rami, that's it. People that have monthly migraines that told me, Rami, it's amazing how many years I carried this tension here. And now suddenly it's gone just because this whole system of opening the neck. Funny enough, one of them used to have a huge breast D, and she would hide it always. And one day I caught it when she did. I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Oh, I'm from the generation that we were ashamed to have a big breast, and we hide it with all those postures." And then once I said, "No, you should be proud of it." And then we released all that area, and that she was a very high-end woman in the business world. So she, it's running 7 malls, and that was a big relief for her to find out that all it wasn't the hormones, it was the weight and the tension here. And so we can try it next time, and that really goes a long way with the migraines and headaches.
Thank you so much, Rami. I see actually somebody started off with a headache and now they don't have one after our class. So
Oh,
we'll look forward to next time.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you next month. Thank you.